So we now look at question number 6 of April 2024. Part A says, highlight 5 roles of the board of directors in the oversight of company accounts and the company law in your country. Highlight 5 roles of the board of directors in the oversight of company accounts and the company law in your country. So we need to go to our notes. We need to go to our notes and look at company directors. What did we say about them? Company directors, their roles. Company directors. Yeah, so in the issue of company directors, we have roles or duties that we give, and there are very many divided into various categories. So let's go and look at what are the duties. The duties. So the duties are here. The duties are here. So now that they are talking of duties in regard to the oversight of the company accounts, we can pick from here. Number one, act in good faith to what is considered to be in the best interest of the company. That's point number 1. When they are doing the oversight, act in good faith to what is considered to be in the interests of the company. Act in good faith to what is considered to be in the interests of the company. Number 2, approach company affairs. Approach company affairs in an open mind. Approach company affairs in an open mind, and must deliberate on the duty of the meeting. Duty of the meeting, and should not agree in advance on how they are going to vote. Yeah. Approach the company affairs in an open mind and must deliberate on the duty of the meeting and should not agree in advance on how they are going to vote. So in this meeting, the AGM, where the agenda is about consideration of the books of accounts, or even in the board of directors, where the accounts have been tabled by the auditor, the director must approach that in an open mind. That is a duty. Number 3, exercise power for proper purposes. Exercise power in the oversight. In the oversight, he must exercise for proper purposes. So when we come here, we can pick the 3rd one here, the 4th one now. Not to accept any gift. Not to accept any gift or benefit intended to compromise independent judgment. Yeah, that's point number 4. When they are doing the oversight, he should not be compromised. He should not be compromised by any gifts. Number 5, to exercise reasonable care, skill, and diligence. To exercise reasonable care, skill, and diligence. Skill and diligence. Number 6, which we can still put as part of the supervision, is to declare interest in any proposed transaction. These oversights or these proposed transactions that are in the books of accounts, they must declare interest. And number 7 is to avoid conflict of interest. To avoid conflict of interest. So what you can see is that the notes that we have, they have general duties. They have duties that apply to the directors. But when the examiner decides to narrow down on a particular issue, then you pick the duties that are more specific to that. Otherwise, all these are duties. These are 7 duties. Then here we have 5 duties. That is already 12. And then here we have 3 more duties, so 15. So from those, you can pick any that you think fits the specification that the examiner has given. Outline 5 powers of a company's external auditor. The powers of external auditor. The powers of a company's external auditor. So we talked about this in our topic number 10, company auditors. And we looked at all these things. Looked at all this. Disqualification, removal, resignation, rights, remuneration, duties. And then we talked of the powers or rights. Powers or rights. Number 1, access at all time the company's records and financial statements in whatever form they are held. That's a right or a power that he has. Remember, rights grant powers. He should access, it is his power, he has, yeah. Number 2, require explanations as he thinks necessary for carrying out his responsibilities. Require explanations as he thinks necessary for carrying out his responsibilities. Number 3, seek professional advice necessary to effectively discharge his duties. Seek professional advice necessary to discharge his duties. Another one is receive all notices and other communication. Receive all notices and other communication relating to any general meeting. Relating to any general meeting in which any member of the company is entitled to receive. Entitled to receive. Number 5, attend any general meeting of the company. Attend any general meeting of the company. Number 6, to be heard at any general meeting. To be heard at any general meeting that the auditor attends. To be heard at any general meeting that the auditor attends on any part of the business. On any part of the business of the meeting. Of the meeting, the capacity of an auditor. And finally, receive a fair remuneration for his service. Receive a fair remuneration for his service. So those are the rights and the powers. The rights and powers. The rights are the ones that gives powers. However, as you know, no one has absolute power. He cannot force. It is his right, it is his power, but there comes a point that he cannot force. And that's why we say in the auditor's report, one of the things that he should write is to confirm whether he was able to exercise all his powers. Did you receive all the information? Did you receive all the explanations that you wanted? So that is how you are supposed to look at it. Part C of that question says, XYZ Limited, a publicly listed company, is scheduled to hold its annual general meeting next month. You have been requested to draft an agenda for the AGM and provide guidance on the legal requirements and procedures that must be followed. Now, you are required to outline 5 items that should be included in the agenda of XYZ Limited AGM and explain the legal requirements and procedures associated with each item. So we have to go to the annual general meeting. Annual general meeting. Yes, annual general meeting. So when you are told to discuss the agenda item, the agenda are just these things. First of all, we said there's a meeting held once per year by directors and shareholders. The registrar on application can extend the period. So it's not a must that you hold within 1 year. Matters discussed at the AGM include. So we gave these 6 items. So these can be the agenda items. So the agenda items, number 1, consideration of annual accounts and reports by directors and auditors. That's like what we have talked about, the oversight. That's agenda number 1. Consideration of annual accounts and reports by directors and auditors. Number 2, declaration of dividends by directors. Declaration of dividends by directors. Number 3, appointment of auditors and determination of their salaries. Appointment of auditors and determination of their salaries. Number 4, voting in new directors in place of those retiring. Voting in new directors in place of those retiring. Number 5, changes of memorandum and articles. Changes of memorandum and articles. Number 6, approval of bonus and rights issues. Approval of bonus and rights issues. There are 2 other things that we have not captured here, which will always be present in most of the meetings or the agenda lists. Number 1 is the matters arising. Matters arising. Especially if this is not the first meeting, matters arising, where you read the minutes of last time and you discuss what has come out of that, matters arising. That's always number 1. And ile inawekangwa number last is AOB, any other business. Although nowadays people are disputing the AOB because inaweza tumika kuleta mambo yenye watu hawakuwa wameprepare for it. But the practice is still having that we have AOB. Now, the examiner here had also requested you give the legal considerations or the requirements. I would suggest you can give them what we call, you can come to what we call requirements. Requirements or essentials of a valid meeting. We give 4 of them. the essentials for a valid meeting. One, there must be a proper convening authority. Proper convening authority. Number two, proper notice. Number three, requisite quorum. And number four, proper person to chair. So those are some of the legal requirements. Legal requirements of the items. Okay, so I think there you have a lot of materials on meetings you can be able to talk about, including even how they are supposed to be held, how voting should be done, and so on. So that is the end of question 6. We now go to question number 7, which is the last question.